back at it again. What a wild day that is happening right now.
What a day. What a day.
Today is definitely turning into a very, very wild day. The Chicago Cubs have been very active at the trade deadline today.
Very generous, too. Very generous.
Very well. I mean, yeah, for you, Mister Yankee fan. Meanwhile, all the Cubs fans around the world are dying right now. I mean, listen, this is a big day. The Cubs have traded Anthony Rizzo. They've received back two prospects from the New York Yankees. Now, I know everybody hates having to do a deal with the New York Yankees, but hey, it is what it is. By the way, like the video, subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly, and we don't want you to miss a thing. So make sure that you hit that bell.
Man, it's a beautiful day, man. Hey, me and James right now are clapping and Chicago's punching the air.
Amen. This is a big thing because this is Mr. Cub, not to the extent that Ernie Banks is, but this is the beginning of the Cubs dynasty. It started with Sterling Castro, but it started with Anthony Rizzo,
right?
And now he's gone. And I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. To me, the only person you keep out of this at this point is Wilson Contreras, because you've gotten rid of the glue. You got rid of your glue. Javi Baez isn't the glue anymore. He never
playing with me. If you don't stop playing with me, Pat.
Who?
Listen, you do not. You keep Javi out of this. You keep Javi. You don't keep. No, you keep Javi. What are you talking about?
No.
Listen, absolutely. I'm wearing a Yankees hat, but I'm still a Cubs fan here, man. You keep Javi. What are we talking about? I don't know about 200. You keep Javi.
So listen. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. In your mind, how does keeping Javi Baez put the Cubs in a better position to be successful sooner? With the knowledge that he is a piece that can bring you back. It's not going to bring you back a haul, but it's going to bring you back some probably nice prospects that you absolutely could use sooner than later. He'll bring you back prospects that are closer to coming into the majors. So in your mind, how do you build a future without getting rid of that piece?
You know what? I wasn't prepared for that, Pat. I'm just biased to Javi Baez. No, if in all actuality, I'm going to say you're right. He's one of my favorite players. He's electrifying player, and he's one of the reasons why I watch the Cubs. He is, but if we're building around it, just as some people said in the chat, and people have said all across the city, you do keep Contreras. I'm not going to be a complete jerk about it, like you do for the few like I'm gonna be realistic. Like, do I like Javi? Yes. Is he my favorite player? Yes. But am I going to build a team around him with his inconsistencies? Like, he's having a year, he's having a moment, but has he consistently shown this? No. He's, we already know what he does for us defensively and stuff like that. And that's great. But outside of that, his value is, is very up and down. So hopefully this is a start for him to continue. Maybe this is the spark he needed. Maybe like now seeing Rizzo gone and maybe some other pieces. Who knows? I think if Rizzo's gone, Bryant's out of there sooner or later. Since that's been on the rocks. Maybe he steps up and it allows him the room to kind of grow into the player that I hope he can be. But right now it's just very inconsistent on his swing. So and my pops always tells me you keep the catcher.
Yeah, you keep the catcher. To me, Wilson's young enough. You can still build around Wilson. You can still do some good things with Wilson. He's going to be key to developing these pitching prospects that they are getting in. And listen, earlier they made a trade with the White Sox. You know what I'm saying? Like the Cubs. I'll tell you this. I like, by the way, that trade. They sent Tempora to the White Sox in a nice little crosstown deal, and they got back a pitching prospect for him from the Chicago White Sox. That's going to be key to the Chicago Cubs moving forward. That pitching prospect, Bailey Horn, by the way, 30th prospect in the White Sox organization, 30th ranked. That's going to be key to what they want to do moving forward, because to me, it's you're talking about a organization that has finally made a decision. I think that the problem with what the Cubs were doing was that, and we want to hear from you guys, by the way. Call into the show, 855-908 5668. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on the Contender. So call into the show, man. We would love to hear from you guys. Again, I'll throw that number back up there, 855-908-5668. The thing to me that the Chicago Cubs have finally done is they chose a direction. When we came into the season, I'm going to be real. The reason that you're here is because you waited to choose a direction. If you come into the season with Yu Darvish, if you come into the season with now Kyle Schwarber, I mean, you had Jock Peterson, kind of gave you similar production, but Kyle Schwarber caught a little bit of fire before injury. If you come into the season with those pieces in place and you add to what is there, but we didn't have the money for it, we were dealing with biblical losses. You're the Chicago Cubs. If you come in and make that decision early, you're not here right now. Possibly,
that's a fact.
You're possibly not here right now when the team is ready to rebuild because you have an ace. Your pitching staff struggled, but it's because there was no ace. Mm-hmm. Your bullpen was great, and you know why the bullpen began to struggle? Because you killed them trying to get through these games because you had no starting pitching. And so, but I like them for finally having the cojones to make a decision. They came out and they said, listen, we have to blow this thing up. It's not going to work. It's not going to be anything bigger than this in the future. And to me, if we are going to blow this thing up, you got to get rid of Javi. You've got to get rid of KB. KB's going to bring you back some nice prospects. You've got to get rid of Anthony Rizzo. You've got to get rid of Craig Kimbrell. Now, does it have to be a complete and total rebuild? I think if you keep Wilson and you get some of these prospects in here, you might be able to turn it around quicker. But yeah, it does. It really does. Like, you got to make that decision one way or the other because the middle never gets you nothing. We've been as a White Sox fan. Let me tell you, the middle gets you nothing.
You know all about that. On the flip side, though, I like to say this. Nice landing spot for Rizzo. You know,
really
as a hometown, one of the hometown favorites of mine, and of course the city, like you say, it's Mr. Cub. You want the team to do what's best for the organization, but you also want your favorite players to kind of have a decent landing spot to finish out their career. And I think the obviously Yankees is my second team, one of the first teams I fell in love with as a shorty. So. That bias is there for me. But even still, the core that they have over there and what they're doing, he has an opportunity to actually do some big things over there with the organization that seems to be moving in the right direction. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy that at this point, there's nothing looming over their heads. They can move forward and just get back to playing good baseball. And that's what you want to see. Like we've had so many different writers here, beat writers here, express about the gloom that hung over every game and stuff like that, how empty Wrigleyville felt and all of that stuff. And now we get to actually say, all right, this is what we're doing. Let's commit to it. Let's go full throttle and let's see what we can rebuild or retool in that case. And so I'm happy for Rizzo to get to a good organization. And I'm happy to see that we're making some moves, like you mentioned. I just hope we keep Javi, but if we have to let him go to do what's best for everyone around, hopefully he can go get paid the money that he feels like he deserves, because he definitely did turn down $180 million. So,
yeah, I bet you he's regretting that a little bit. I bet, especially with the back issues. And I mean, listen, you're
going to. It depends, though. It really depends. I mean, we never know. They may come to an agreement with it. I'm hopeful. Come on, I have to be hopeful.
I think Javi's a rental for the Yankees in this situation now. Or not Javi, I'm sorry. I think Anthony's a rental for the Yankees in this situation. And I just really think that can they benefit from this? Absolutely. Can this be something that the Yankees are able to turn into a positive? Yes, but to me, Anthony Rizzo, like that's a team that has so many names. You know what I'm saying? Like what does Javi Baez change? Absolutely. A solid first baseman defensively helps you in that situation. A solid bat adding to the lineup. It's never. You said what?
You keep saying Javi, it's Rizzo.
I'm sorry, Anthony. I'm sorry. A solid defender who's able to be in the lineup, a solid bat, consistent bat. But to me, this doesn't move the needle for me for the Yankees one way or the other. Yes, you had a little consistency at first base. That's great, but you had these names. You know what I'm saying? You've got the big name guys. You've got the guys who should be able to come in and be able to get the job done. You should have had that. You've had that for 3 seasons now. adding Anthony Rizzo adds World Series experience, but does it change what the Yankees are going to do in the AL? I'm gonna be real with you. Adding Anthony Rizzo to the Yankees doesn't scare me as an AL fan. It doesn't shake my faith that I think the Sox could beat the Yankees in a 7-game series with good pitching, because Anthony Rizzo's coming from a team that, yeah, he was probably the best batter on the team, but still a team that was struggling to hit the ball. I don't think that him going to the Yankees changes that.
That's interesting. I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, he was the best batter on our team. He goes to a squad that has some pretty big name batters up there. Solidifies that first. I mean, obviously, I don't see why. I forgot who's playing first baseman for them. Who's playing first base for the Yankees?
For the Yankees right now, you've got DJ LeMahieu over there playing first base. So I mean,
sounds like Rizzo's taking that spot.
LeMahieu's nice though. LeMahieu's nice.
I'm not saying he's not, but I'm also coming from.
I would probably put Rizzo in that spot.
I think you'd be stupid not to, but okay. I think it just makes them a more dynamic team. It makes them, them stacking up against the White Sox now. I think is a lot closer than you're letting on. I mean, definitely. They had injury issues for the last 3 years as well, didn't they?
I mean, yeah, but they're still third in the AL East. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't scare me. Like, it's not like I see them adding Anthony Rizzo. Now they're adding a bunch of pieces, but it's not like I see them adding these pieces and it's like, oh, you're gonna make this huge run. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see them them all of a sudden going from third to first or third to second because they're able to add in a couple of people. Like, I don't think that at the trade deadline, adding a couple pieces to what you already have is going to change it, because I think that they should have already been there.
Injuries, though.
A lot of injuries.
I mean, let's be honest.
Hey, listen, but if you're talking injuries, come on now. Southside.
Hey, listen, I get the White Sox have done, what they've done, and obviously, you made a comment offline before that, manager of the year. I give it to you. Like, he's actually done the best he has with nobody in the outfield and everything like that. But the Yankees went heavy on Judge, and his name was eluding me. So thanks for the comments, Staten. He was, with the injuries and stuff like that, having another big bat that comes in and helps them. It absolutely keeps them in the hunt. Like you said, they're third now. I forgot what the year he actually Judge got injured. They were doing really well at the beginning. And so this is one of those things where I absolutely see the Yankees coming out ahead. I think this puts them, like you said, does it move the needle? Nah, I think it moves the needle.
Really?
I think this moves the needle. I think it does. I think it does, because I'm not. You know what it is like? It's like what you mentioned for using the same state, whatever, the Nets. You weren't afraid of them because you're like, who's going to be on the floor, right?
Yeah, who's going to be
healthy? Yeah, a lot of people are sitting there looking at the Yankees like, who's going to be available down the stretch? Who's going to be available this particular season, just because of how many injuries they've had over the last 2-3 years. Rizzo kind of shores that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so for me, it moves the needle. It moves the needle. It should, because all three of them healthy. Hey, that's the team.
But
that's
I think
that's the fact they got blown out today. It's still a squad.
Yeah.
I mean, no Rizzo on this team so far, but 14-0 was a wild. I mean, you didn't get blown out. You got smoked.
I think that's the problem, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, the pitching has been struggling. Garrett Cole has done some great things to kind of get himself back into where he was before all of this sticky stuff came out. You know what I'm saying?
I bet you that spin rate has slowly crept up as they stop checking as much.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit of Bardol, Vagisil. Anything to get you an extra 3 to 4 rotations on that ball.
I'm such a weird guy to have on this topic, man, because I like the Yankees, but at the same time, Garrett Cole absolutely bombed that. Man, I got so many bars for him right now. It's it's ridiculous. I'm just happy that Rizzo gets a chance to be with a storied franchise and can actually make a name, continue to make a name for himself like he did here, potentially. Like, he has the opportunity. Like, I love that. But let's not act like Garrett Cole's whole fiasco doesn't loom over the season like a dark cloud. I mean, that is the way. I mean, wow.
I think to me, like, when I'm looking at just like because the Yankee, like I said, for you, maybe this trade moves the needle for him. I mean, now I think you have three players who have struggled to stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Rizzo has struggled with the back issue. Giancarlo Stanton I don't think he's been healthy since he's left Miami. And Aaron Judge has always had problems on staying on the field as well. To me, now you've got three guys who struggle to stay on the field. Yes, if you get all three of them on the field at the same time, the lineup might go crazy. That's a force to be reckoned with. But that pitching staff still doesn't scare me. It's Garrett Cole and the rest of them boys. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I want to get to a Aroldis Chapman in the ninth inning in a tie ball game situation. I'm begging for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but on the flip side, like to me, Cubs fans, I would say be happy that your team has made a decision. Like it's sad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not as a Sox fan. I'm not sad to see Anthony Rizzo go, but I think that it's sad to see a Chicago staple go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's a staple of Chicago. It's sad to see. To me, the thing that I hate most is that the Sox and Cubs have never been good at the same time, consistently. Like the Crosstown Classic is coming up. I was gonna go. I might still go just because it's like, okay, that's an interesting. It's Cubs Sox. It'll still be some. But like Anthony Rizzo's not there. That was the captain. Chris Bryant's probably not going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Javi Baez more than likely not going to be there. Craig Kimbrell's not going to be there more than likely.
That you keep saying that irks me. Oh God!
What am I going to see? What am I going to see? You know what I'm saying? And so
every time you said more than likely, you didn't say more than likely with KB. You said it with Baez. I think you just do stuff like that tick me off.
Let's see. We got a question here. Was it a mistake that they didn't get Rizzo a chance to walk off field for ovation? Like take them out of the game, etc. Bryant similar. Was it a mistake? Where was the game? Was the game at home today? Because that is, that's right. That would have been his last game at Wrigley. And it was at home today versus Cincy. Was that a mistake? That's not a bad. I'm gonna say yeah. Give him the opportunity to.
Did they know it was gonna get done?
You probably know that's going to get done going into this morning. That's not a deal where you just pick up the phone and it's on the way. You know what I'm saying?
That's one thing about baseball trades I don't understand. So you got to help me out in chat, and everyone else help me out. Like when someone gets traded in a situation like that, does the manager know, or is it just like, okay, this may happen? Like,
oh, dog, we've seen people get traded literally mid-game. We've seen people literally get traded and they come in and be like, I'm trying to think who was, y'all refresh my memory since we do got people from New York in here. Who was my man from New York? I believe he was on the Mets. He got traded in the middle of a game and somebody told him and they sent him back out and he was crying because this was the organization that brought him up. This was the organization that did everything to it. And he did they did end up pulling him out of the game. He did get the opportunity. Wilmer Flores. Shout out to James. James on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it a mistake for the Cubs to not do that? I would say yeah, because I think you do know. Shout out to Chris too. Chris hit us with it. You do know who is gonna go. And at a minimum, you know that this is probably Rizzo's last game in Chicago. This is probably Bryant's last game in Chicago. This is probably last game in Chicago. You keep saying you're gonna get upset, so I won't say it no more. Happy bias. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you do have to. You got to give them that opportunity. You got to give them that opportunity for Chicago to let them know how they feel. Because listen, like I said, oh, wait, did he not end up getting traded? I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even follow it after that. Everybody said he did all that crying and wasn't traded.
Hey, Chris, thanks for tuning in, my man. I know.
Hey, Chris, Marcus Couch was goody, y'all. We got the fam in the building.
I will say this, regardless of it, I think this has been a wild week in sports in general because we talked about this the other day. Aaron Rodgers airing out his grievances of how they handle things and how they've treated former players. For them to have known if what everyone is saying is true, and then for them to have known and not give them the opportunity, I think that's in poor taste, to be honest with you.
Well, at a minimum, the deadline's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, that this is probably it.
Yeah, I think that's in poor taste. I think,
And especially when you're as far out of it as the Cubs are right now, you know that they're not going to be there moving forward. You know that it doesn't matter if they're in the game. Like, yeah, you want to win every game, but this game doesn't change the fact that you're not going to the playoffs. This
yeah,
game doesn't change the fact that you're not going to be a contender. This game, like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Contender, by the way. We live on there right now. You see, I did that. That's that to me. That's the one where it's like, listen, okay, yes, Anthony Rizzo is leaving. We don't know where he's going. We don't know when he's leaving, but we do know he's probably leaving.
that's, you know what, I'm gonna be honest with you. For a team that hasn't won in what 108 years, right? And for you to, not give them that opportunity, to me, that's just such poor taste. Like that, knowing that, I honestly didn't know
Yeah,
that part. Like I've always, want to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I think just out of respect, just because of what he meant to Chicago, they would have given him the opportunity. So whoever, if what we're saying is true, and again, if what we're saying is true, then yeah, no, that's horrible. That's horrible. And I hope that if Chris Bryant and all of them get traded, at this point, if Chris Bryant gets traded today, he wouldn't have had that opportunity either. That's horrible.
that's to me that's tough.
That's
To me
horrible.
that's tough. To me that's tough. Man, we want to hear from you guys. Call into the show, man. 855-908-5668. How are you feeling about the trade of Chris Bryant? Jay saying, now this is the wild part too. This, to me, this is the even wilder part. I can't see the game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if what is going on. Jay Sane says they sat them. A lot of teams do this as a way to prevent injury before a deal. Would have loved to at least have seen a pinch hit. So apparently they didn't play in the game at all. And I just that's tough. Yeah, send him out for a hit. If he's probably not going to get hurt on a hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's tough to me. That's tough
Yes.
to me. I think so. So let me ask you this: as a your National League team is the Cubs. Um, what do you think is the next step for them to get things back in the right direction?
I got a message from my pops. Um, he pretty much said thank you for saying that they finally made a decision. He's been saying blow it up this entire time. And with that being said, there's a lot they have to do, to be honest with you. Like realistically, they made a decision. They got rid of Rizzo. They got some prospects back. But as you mentioned before, how much more? What are they going to do with Javi? All of that stuff kind of matters.
Yeah,
And for me, I think the next thing they have to do is figure out what's to do with Chris Bryant, and that has to happen. I think now in this time within this time frame too, like that has to happen, because you don't want that looming over your head either. Because I
right.
think the whole season was kind of a wash, or even if they were going to last out the season, because we didn't know what was going to happen to them. So we were like having this nostalgic moment, but it was kind of like this constant thorn in the side, because it was just like, okay, this could amount to nothing. This could mean nothing, right? And so if we're going to start anew, as my pops said, just burn it all the way down. And so his message was kiss Javi goodbye, and I was like, okay, thanks, pops. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Hi, Dad. Like that. That's horrible. So for me, it's just about that. They if they're going to move him, they need to get something back. And then, as Jason said, start with pitching. Start with pitching. They have to do something with it. That bullpen is looking real suspect. So
Who and I mean, honestly, it's looking suspect to me because you burned it out. You didn't have the starting pitching. I mean, Ricketts or not Ricketts. Theo's whole plan was buy pitching. We'll buy pitching instead of going and getting pitching, or instead of drafting pitching. We'll just buy it. And clearly that didn't work out. And I see Levante in the chat.
this man said Chris Bryant to the White
Javi
Sox.
Baez to the White Sox. Nah, that's
Not
not gonna happen. Not after the Sox made that trade for Lord, why is this man's name escaping me today? Second baseman from Cleveland. Not the good one though. Not the great one. I'm gonna go glove player. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Who am I looking at? Hernandez. Hernandez. I don't know why I was thinking Gomez,
That
but
was the
Hernandez.
first one we talked about today too. That's kind of
You
as a
said
white.
what?
That was the first trade we talked about today.
Yeah,
In the
and it's
chat.
been. I mean, listen, it's been a big day of transactions. But when I'm looking at the Cubs, when I'm looking at kind of what they have now, where they're at now, I think that it's probably going to be some time because it's going to take time to develop that pitching staff. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, when you've made the decision to trade Rizzo, you're making the decision to gut it all.
To gut it.
To gut it all. And like your pops was saying, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no point in keeping any of them. Maybe Wilson because he's gonna be a help in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Cubs literally said before, or Theo said, and Ricketts said, we'll never be a 100-loss team again. Well, I hate to tell you this, you're heading right for it. You're heading right for it because you weren't able to develop pitching. And I see a lot of people going at Tom Ricketts up in this mug.
I go at him too, just for the.
No, listen. This is my. I'm not a Cubs fan. I'm completely unbiased when it comes to the Chicago Cubs. I more dislike the Cubs than anything.
I think the Cubs have an affinity for New York teams.
This is my thing.
Because I say that because the reports I keep seeing for Javi Baez that my pops keep sending me, which again, thanks pops, is Javi to the Mets. Which I mean, hey, it's a day and a half to figure it out at this point, but that is that's something if that happens. The trade deadline is tomorrow night, right?
It's tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night.
Let's just I would say this, to have a moment for this team because I wholeheartedly expect that core to be gone. I mean, it would only make sense. It would only make sense at this point.
If you're Tom Ricketts, you have tried to turn the Chicago Cubs. I'm fine with you taking the Chicago Cubs from a mom and pop to a business. I like that. This is what I don't like. You've taken the Chicago Cubs away from the everyday fan. And not only that, by starting the Marquee Network, and not only that, you've taken the Chicago Cubs away from the everyday fan because everybody's not going to go get Marquee. Everybody's not going to have Marquee. You've taken the Chicago Cubs away from the everyday fan, but you've also not put money into their team now. You've not helped them to continue to be better. Now, listen, the name, you got to hit, you got to be able to pitch. The names are there, but the White Sox have gone through hitting slumps. They're going through a little bit of one right now. But guess what? Their pitching has been able to keep them afloat.
Mm-hmm.
When you provide money for great pitching, when you continue to put great pitching in there, and that's on Theo as well. Like the fact that we're here, that you're gutting the everyday fans team, and that you basically took the team away from them. I wanted to watch the Cubs on ESPN one night. I wanted to watch them on ESPN one night because they was on the lot and it was blacked out because it was on Marquee. I was like, wow.
Interesting.
Wow. And so to me, like,
you know what? That's why I appreciate you so much, bro, because you are a true professional with this. Like, once as this grows, I have to say that you are one of the hardest working people I know when it comes to this because you will watch a full baseball game. I love baseball. That's my first love. You will watch a full baseball game all the way through. You go searching for the games just to come up here and have to take. So for those on the Contender, those on the you're looking at one of the hardest working men in show business, legitimately.
Now listen, we're gonna get. I appreciate that, bro. I really do. I appreciate that. I try to work hard at this. I love doing this, and I love talking with y'all. Shout out to y'all, man. If y'all in here now, man, like the video, subscribe to the page so that you can see us constantly. Now we're gonna go out to our New York, because the Contender. We're out of New York on the Contender. Mm-hmm. We're out of New York on the Contender. So we got to see what New York is like right now. How we're looking at this deal. So we're gonna go out to my man's James Flippin'.
James,
the founder of the Contender.
What's up, guys?
James what's good, man?
Chilling, yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of sports news. For those of you who don't know, we're Chicago and DC, so we're all over everything that's going on with Russell Westbrook right now. We got obviously Max Scherzer that might get traded any minute. But look, I mean, as a National League Baseball fan, as a guy who has kind of always appreciated Cubs fans for their passion and all that kind of thing, it's a weird moment right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited about all the breaking news and all the activity that we're getting out of this here on the Contender. But Rizzo's the guy that kind of, I feel like, sparked that rebuild in a way for the Cubs some years ago, and he caught that ball to win the World Series. All that he's been through on a personal level, his connection to the fans, it feels like a major moment that they're trading him. And who knows? Maybe they'll keep Bryant, maybe they'll keep Baez, and that'll be kind of the new continuing legacy for them. But I got to tell you, as Mets fans, there is some buzz that maybe Baez would end up with New York, with the Mets. He came out and said that he would be happy to play with Lindor, Francisco Lindor, said that they played together baseball classic, which sounds right. I think they were both on the Puerto Rican team. Baez has basically said he would play second base. Now, I don't know if that would mean the Mets actually re-signing him. I would imagine probably not. But I think the Mets are kind of in rental mode right now. Of course, they've been connected to Bryant for months as a potential landing spot because they need a third baseman, a permanent third baseman. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time. But for the Cubs, it kind of feels a little bit depressing because I think it's always like one of those things where when you got to take your medicine and start to do that rebuild, it's not so fun in the immediate. But you got to think positively and say, okay, I have no idea what they got from the Yankees. That's not a team I would want to trade with because I feel like they never give up anything good in these trades. But that being said, you never know.
How do you feel about? Got a little echo going on.
I had a little feedback there.
Is it on me?
No. I think that was on the Contender side. It's all good. Go ahead, ask your question.
Apologies. How do you feel about the with those talks? What does that do? Like, if you don't mind going down that rabbit hole with us, as someone in that area, let's say they do pull off a Bryant or a Hobby trade. Like, how do you, as a fan in that area, how do you think that would help that fan base and things of that nature? What do you think the overall feel would be for them? I know you say it's a rental, but can you see it being a long-term deal depending on how they work?
You're talking about for Baez? Yeah, I mean, I think that he's a guy who doesn't necessarily fit like an absolutely perfect role for the Mets in the sense that he strikes out a lot. He's got the pop, but he's not really like an average hitter. That's kind of similar to what I think they have by and large. But he's a great defensive player. We know that. He makes things happen on the base paths. He's a guy who kind of provides a little spark, if you will, a little je ne sais quoi in that respect when he's a member of a roster. So I think it would be great. I'd be happy to see. Right now, the Mets are in a kind of a situation where they've been in first place most of the year, but they haven't been able to put the division away. Their offense is still kind of inconsistent. Adding somebody who could just all of a sudden hit a 3-run homer in the 6th or 7th inning is not necessarily a bad thing. And it would allow them to shore up that third base position by moving McNeil over there and putting Baez at second. But I'd be happy to get either one of them, really, Bryant or Baez.
Now, I think the interesting part, especially with the possibility that one of them could move, is that there's a lot that like if you're gonna make a deal with anybody, and I think at this point, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Are you making deals for MLB ready players? Are you making deals for MLB ready pitchers? Because if I'm looking to make a deal with the Mets, listen, I know the Mets farm system. They do a good job with their farm system. They're able to bring up guys and be able to get guys in there pretty quickly. But Jacob deGrom's over there. If I can send you Javi Baez and Chris Bryant, maybe you're able to get an MLB pitcher ready. How do you think about that?
I mean, honestly, right now, believe it or not, it's one of those things where the Mets may actually be more interested in starting pitching than even getting a guy like Baez or Bryant right now because they've been down DeGrom. He's injured right now. Carrasco, who they got from the Indians in the Lindor trade, was supposed to be their number 2. He's only just now going to be coming back, maybe, I think, tomorrow. So they're in a position where they actually need the starting pitching. And, that's not really something the Cubs are in a position to deal right now. But that's why, some rumors have had the Mets more connected to teams like Minnesota, trying to get maybe a guy like Berrios. They were in on that guy from the Pirates that got traded to the Mariners. So yeah, it's kind of weird. The Mets are in kind of a position where they could use an upgrade at a number of different positions, but they're not really in a position to deal major league level starting pitching right now. They do have some prospects on the pitching side that might be what gets it done. A guy like JT Ginn is a young guy who's got a lot of upside. They've got another guy, Matt Allen, but I think he's rehabbing from Tommy John surgery. So I don't know. That's the kind of practical question that I don't really know the answer to, but it's realistic to say, are they even really realistic trade partners? I don't know.
If one thing that life has taught me is that if Twitter talks about it enough, it tends to happen. And unfortunately, every time I look up the Mets, all I see is Javi or Chris Bryant to the Mets. And so eventually I'm like, okay, prepare for that part. Prepare for that part. And you know what? Again, I guess not a bad situation to put them in. Great, a good organization. It's not like they're dooming them. In the NBA, a team, if you want to doom a player, you send them to Detroit. So it's not like that's the situation here. So
maybe that changes after tonight.
Hey, listen, maybe he's to the Cubs after tonight. Who knows? But this was good, man. I appreciate your take on it. Like we actually have to get you more to talk about the NL and things like of that nature. I've always appreciated your baseball genius.
Look, I'm definitely a baseball head. I mean, most of it's kind of stemming from just my sick Mets fandom and the way that, I mean, you can see behind me the logos and stuff like that. But that's why obviously I appreciate the Chicago diehards that live and die with their teams also. But yeah, I think the Mets are definitely going to do something. I'd be shocked if they didn't make a trade of some kind. But the other thing that they've been rumored and connected to is the Rockies, because the Rockies are potentially thinking about trading Trevor Story, their shortstop, who's a free agent after this year. And they have a pitcher, John Gray, that's been in a lot of trade rumors. I'm not even sure if he's a free agent, but I have to kind of assume that he is also. That tends to be what happens here with this July 31st deadline. It's like, all right, one free agency after this year, I'll try to get a couple prospects for him, because if I get a qualifying offer out there and just a draft pick, it's only the one player. So, take that lottery pick and turn it into two, potentially, that type of thing.
I love it, man. I love it. We appreciate you for tuning in, James, man. Man, tell everybody where they can really get a good listen to us at, man. Tell folks about the Contender while we got you on here, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Appreciate that. Obviously we love, when you guys get on the phone lines. So everybody call up 855-908-5668, and we take calls throughout all our different shows. We do DC sports, Chicago sports. Obviously, that's why you guys are our flagship there. And we got an app coming soon. The app is actually in development right now. The Apple one is kind of like closer maybe than the Google Play one is. So P.Kidd is going to have to just bear with us on that, because I know he's an iPhone holdout. Got the green next to his text. Got the green next to his text. So so we'll that's fine. That's fine. We'll get the Google one going. But yeah, no, thecontender.com, and follow us on Twitter @thecontender.
All right, James, man, really appreciate you for tuning in and rocking with us, my boy.
Appreciate it.
Ooh, wrong button. I hate when I do that.
Engineering skills.
Man. Hey, listen, I'm doing a lot of jobs here at once. We need a producer. Hey, if you're a producer out there, never mind. Steph said, "What's the green stuff about, bro?"
Don't worry about it, Steph. Don't worry about it.
Hey, man, just come on, man. Come on, Team iPhone, man. It's all you had one, but you didn't rock with it. Nah, man. If y'all just getting in here, man, Anthony Rizzo traded. I think we pretty much covered it pretty well. Mm-hmm. And there's so much stuff coming with the NBA. You'll probably see us back on here a little later on in the night. Just talking a little bit of NBA, seeing a little bit of reaction to the draft. We won't be live for the draft. Unless something crazy happened, I might just go live from my phone, because I got to head to the hospital to see little mama. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, we can already put a couple things to bed. I mean, it seems like Russ to the Lakers is actually happening for some odd reason.
Is it? Is it?
It seems like that's a real thing right there. It seems like Andre Drummond is not going to re-sign with the Lakers, so it looks like that's him going to Miami is a real possibility.
That's not bad.
I like Andre Drummond.
That's not bad, Drummond to Miami.
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm not mad at that at all. Philly is still going to be stuck with what they have, because they want like a Lions. Like they want a king's ransom for Ben Simmons,
bro,
who honestly,
bro. So
the
before we
stuff
get out of here, I do got to say that. I do have to say that.
that is ridiculous.
They wanted, they went to the Warriors, asked for James Wiseman, Kelly Oubre Jr.
No. If they wanted
Wiggins, James Wiseman, Wiggins, and 4 first-round picks.
Now, for those who don't know, I'm gonna help you out real quick because Wiggins gets a lot of hate. Wiggins
is a nice piece if he go to Philly.
Oh, he's a nice piece if he goes to Philly, but he gets a lot of hate, which is why people like look at him like, "Oh, throw him in." I've seen that before. Wiggins is 25, and he's gotten better nearly every season, and he's averaging. Well, he's gotten better than ever, but even on Golden State, 18, 5, and well, he didn't get much assists, which so absolutely they need a point guard, right? But they want him, Wiseman, who is touted to be a very good big man, has that potential. And not just one, not two, but they wanted 4
first round picks. 4 first round picks.
For a player who's averaging 14. He's not even averaging a triple double. Like honestly, he's averaging Lonzo Ball numbers.
Hey yo, before we get out of here, we got 78 people in here. Can we get these likes up real quick? Can we get you in here? Can we get the likes up real quick? 26 likes?
26 likes. That's
disrespectful, low key. It's low key disrespectful.
Talking baseball. Baseball for some reason. I got to give it a pass sometimes because baseball is tough.
You said you got to give it a pass. Hey, look. Sometimes. Hey, kid, like I'm on the show. I get it. I don't like it either.
I get it. I get it. But listen, real talk though. Lonzo Ball and Ben Simmons have really the same numbers, but for some odd reason, Ben Simmons is touted as the better prospect. But no one's trying to give a king's ransom for Lonzo Ball. Like if you look up the numbers right now, same player.
I mean, it's the same. Yes and no. Like that to me. That's why I'm never tied to the numbers. That's where the eye test comes. You know what I'm saying? Baki said I'm here and I brought a like with me. Shout out to you, Baki. That's where the eye test comes in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we could say that Lonzo or Ben Simmons and Lonzo Ball are the same level of player, but Ben Simmons is touted as the better prospect. That's why you got to look at it because it's like. Yeah, but if I get in a playoff series, I'm pretty sure Lonzo Ball is not going to forget how to play defense.
He ain't going to forget how to shoot that thing either.
He's not going to forget how to, or at least he's not going to forget to have the cojones to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what it comes down to.
Underneath the rim. How about that?
Yeah, it really comes down to do you got the backbone to shoot this thing? And I think that Lonzo Ball does, and that's why I really want to see him come here in Chicago. But I will tell y'all this: Dennis Schroeder video on the way, as long as no crazy news happens tonight, because he's somebody y'all might now for 150. Dennis, you could take that out to the barn.
4 years, 100.
I would stretch max. I would say 120, but it's based on. Now listen, not over 4, over 5. 120 over 5 team option, 5th year, and you probably backloading that contract.
120 over 5 that pays him roughly around the amount of 100 over 4.
Yeah, but
we're talking the same thing.
No, but must be like in that 5th year. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just something he clearly want to go somewhere where he gonna stay a long time.
I know you're about to get up out of here. So video on the way for him. You're in on him. I'm on the fence on him. Real quick, since we talked about a couple of things, just bring this up to a nice little close, if you don't mind. Yep. Going back to baseball, does the deal for Brian and Javi get done by the deadline?
Yes. Yes, because if the Cubs keep them, they're idiots. Which I mean, we might be able to say that too. You know what I'm saying? But if the Cubs if the Cubs keep them, they're idiots because at that point, you still didn't make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what it comes down to. At that point, you're still not making a decision. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. My man, P.Kidd.
I'm wrapping up for you. I'm a wrap.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay. My bad.
We may not see you tonight. We may not be online. Like an NBA draft. Who's your sleeper?
Who's my sleeper in the draft?
We already know Cade is highly touted where he's going to go, stuff like that. Who's the person you're looking out for? Now, mind you, the Bulls may not get any of these names because we gave away our pick, but it's good.
No, because they still got their second round pick. And listen, I'm sorry, second round picks are at a point where they actually are doing something. If I was gonna go sleeper, maybe JT Thor. But I mean, at that point, you're you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, it's like, all right, we're taking a chance on a guy. Like at that point, you're taking a flyer. You're taking a flyer. So
who do you think wins tonight?
Detroit.
Detroit.
Because they're Jalen Suggs is a good name too. Jalen Suggs is a good name, but I think we're talking sleeper like that could actually fall to the Bulls. I'm assuming that's what you were saying.
No. The sleeper as far as just people, just some names.
Just in general.
But I've already assumed the Bulls have made. We shot our shot pretty much. We made a move. We shot our shot. That's cool. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with Vooch. I know we got to wrap up, so I just wanted to just overall for me, Josh Giddey. I know I was raving about him early. They mentioned him a little bit. His stock has risen over the last month. 6'8" can have a mean handle, excellent court vision. I mean, if you were in on Cade being at the size he is, you got to be in on Josh. And so whoever climbs up for him, I can see a team moving up or trying to make some moves if he's available to get that kid. And I mean, if 6'8" with handles and court vision is what we're going for nowadays, I think he's it. So hey, listen, everybody, we appreciate you all tuning in. Everyone, again, check out the Contender. Check us out on there. Be out on the lookout for the video with my man Pat. I'm actually going to get a video out with him as well. Try to help out. Can't let him do all the heavy lifting. But hey, listen, like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. I'm out of here, man.
Hey, yo, we'll holler at y'all later. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.